So you clicked on the video, chances are you want to learn more about cold email. And the very first thing that we have to master is how to land in your prospect's inbox. The reason why deliverability matters is because if we don't land in the inbox, nothing else matters. Even if we have the best copy, the best wording in the world, it won't get read. The perfect leads won't even see our offer. And then lastly, campaigns will die before they even start. Now, to get going, there's really 3 levels of reputation that we might have as someone that's using cold email as a marketing channel. And the very first level is email service providers. You'd almost think about these as the carriers that will be able to take our email from our inbox into our prospects. And there's 3 main ones. There's Google Workspace, there's Microsoft 365, also known as Outlook, and then there are other budget-friendly options like Zoho Mail. And the way this works is there are 3 levels. You have your email service providers, you have your domains, and then finally you have your mailboxes. Now, if Google, Microsoft, or Zoho think that you're spamming people or that you're sending messages that aren't great and it looks really fishy and they don't want to really promote that behavior, they're going to go put you in the spam folder. The next step is that you have domains. So whenever you're sending cold emails, typically you won't use your main website. I'll get into that in just a moment. But if your domains have a bad reputation, you're also going to go land in the spam folder or the junk mail folder. Lastly, even if you have a healthy domain, but one specific mailbox is spending bad emails, that's a third way of how you could land in the spam folder. One of the best practices to do here is make sure that your emails sound legitimate. Make sure that you're not sending a ton of links that could be looking like phishing where you're trying to get someone's personal information. And when it comes to domains, like you see on the screen here at the very bottom, let's just say that your main website is connoremail.com. What you could do is, because you don't want to risk having your reputation of your main domain impacted, you could get secondary outreach domains similar to helloconnor.com, meetconnor.com. And then for each of those secondary outreach domains, you would then set up other mailboxes. The reason why we want to do this is that your main domain won't get impacted even if your secondary domains do. Now, let's just say that we buy a domain. So coming back here, we bought helloconnor.com as an example. So to go into DNS records very quickly, and I want to make them simple for you, you can almost think about them as your email's ID system. And there's 3 main records. There's SPF, there's DKIM, there's DMARC. So what all of these 3 essentially mean is that your SPF records would pretty much be a guest list at a party, and your servers are allowed to send emails on your behalf. Next, if you have a DKIM key, this is almost saying that every single email that you send has a wax sealed letter invite on it. So no one else could duplicate this email because they don't have your DKIM key. Now, thirdly, DMARC is essentially saying that, hey, whenever we don't have an SPF or a DKIM record, we know what to do. And you could almost think about this as a bouncer at the door of a party. Now for mailboxes, now that we set up the domains, we set up our SPF, your DKIM, and DMARC records, what we want to do now is set up multiple inboxes. So let's just say that we have a domain. What we might want to do is set up 2 email accounts per 1 domain that we set up. So if we have 5 domains, we might want to set up 2 emails per domain, so we would have 10 email inboxes in total. We could set them up like this. If my name's Connor, I might set up an email like connor@connor.com or connor.k@connor.com. Typically, it's very simple. The more inboxes that you have, the more emails you could send. And if you don't want to do this part yourself, there are providers that could do this for you. They're pretty quick and they know how to do their job right. However, they do charge an additional cost. Now, let's just say that you have your domains, you set up your DNS, you set up your email accounts. There are a couple other things that you might have to do or that you want to do. You can't just buy domains, set up email accounts, and then start blasting 500 emails tomorrow. There's a very core aspect to this. You have to build your email reputation. So the providers, Google, Microsoft, Zoho, they see that over time, an email account, a domain is landing in the inbox, you're not landing in the spam folder, and you're building healthy reputation so that as you send more emails, more quality emails, it's going to be easier and easier to land in the inbox. Now, what warming up means is that there's a pool of emails. And there are tools out there that we'll jump into in future videos where you're sending emails in a pool. Each one is replying to another, completely automated. And then you're typically going to send anywhere from 1 to 3 emails a day to initially when you start warming up. And you might even go all the way up to 15, 20 warm up emails as you're building a reputation for your inbox, for your domain as well. Now, the goal of this is you want Google, Microsoft Outlook to see your inboxes as normal, as human, because you don't want to show them any type of spammy behavior. So the very next thing that we want to do is, now that we have our emails, we have been warming them up for a period of time. Now, whenever we're sending messages, we might want to use something called syntax. This is more of an advanced option. However, whenever we're using email sequencers, these are platforms that could send emails on our behalf. We don't have to send each email one by one. It's completely automated. We're using a function that will rotate words. That sounds a little bit complicated. You could see that between the squiggly lines, there are hey, hello, and then hi there. So whenever we're sending an email, it will rotate between those words being used. So in email number 1, it might say, hey, first name. In email number 2 that we send out, it might say, hello, first name. Then in email 3, we might say, hi there, first name. And the reason why we want to do this is because it's going to keep every single email unique that we send out. And we don't just do this for the greeting line. We use this multiple times in every single sentence, in our signatures, in our follow-ups, because you could almost think about that. Every single time that we change a variation of a section of a sentence, it creates many more possibilities to show uniqueness to Google, to Outlook, even to Zoho, so that they don't think that we're copy and pasting every single email. Over time, what happens is that we are improving deliverability for our email accounts, for our domains, and then with Google, Outlook, and then Zoho. What you don't want to do is you don't want to send emails from your personal Gmail. You also don't want to blast thousands of emails from your inbox day one. Also, you don't want to set up the security features and the ID system that we talked about, from setting up your SPF, your DKIM, then DMARC records. So for a bit of a check-in here, why would it be important for us to use a separate domain for cold email instead of our main domain? If you guess that it's about protecting your brand, you're on the money here. And next up, what we're going to go cover is, now that we have our inboxes ready, we want to figure out, hey, who do we want to send emails to? And that's why we're going to go cover email strategy next. I'll see you in the next video.